most excited I've seen you ever. You're pretty excited after that game. I guess just talk about the thrill of winning a competitive game in an atmosphere like that and what you do early in the season.
Yeah, I think I'm always excited about what I'm doing. I think as the leader, though, I have to make sound decisions, and I've always found you make your best decisions when you're not emotional about things. With that being said, this is a happy mission that we're on right now. This isn't one that is grim or anything like that. So it's okay to enjoy that. I want the players to enjoy that. So I thought it was a good time to celebrate with them and then enjoy the flight home and move on.
Moving on, just Butler back home. What's the mindset, I guess, after a road week like that?
Yeah. This is a good weekend for us. You're seeing two very veteran teams facing a really good starting pitcher tomorrow night. So really competitive, older players positionally for both teams. So this isn't just a, hey, chalk it up, show up and win. We have to play well. We're going to have to play well to win, number one. Number two, talking about this, being a mission, improvement on a daily basis is a foundational thing for us. And there's some things that we need to improve on, which I'm excited about to get out there today and work on and then take them into the weekend.
Strikeouts, one of those things?
Yeah, that's a yes and no, to be honest with you. There's a reason why we're a little high. There's actually a couple reasons why we're a little higher. We want to eliminate the ones that we shouldn't have, but we're going to have some. And, I don't really want to elaborate on how and the why and the what, but I know the difference between the ones that are, I guess what you would call okay or acceptable and the ones that aren't. We want to attack the ones that aren't and have those be a little bit better.
It seems like Ty Floyd just feels a lot more comfortable out there in the mound, comfortable with his stuff and whatnot. What sort of improvements has he made?
Yeah, he's been great. I saw it at the end of last year. His last 7 appearances, I believe it was a Tuesday against Nichols, maybe. From that point forward, I thought he was really good, and I think he just carried that into this season. A really good fall. Facing a tough lineup with our team, was a little rocky those couple outings, but he's got enough self-confidence and belief in himself and has a good plan, and he's been very professional in how he's gone about working at it that I'm not surprised at all of his elevation, so to speak, in terms of his development. You could see it, and really important part of our team, and him continuing to improve will only help us and help him.
I'm not sure how much he's thrown yet, but do you guys expect Tommy to be back in the field at all this weekend? Or?
I don't know that yet. He played catch on Monday for the first time. Played a little bit of catch Tuesday. Took tomorrow off. Don't really have an answer on that either way. We're hopeful. I mean, we're hopeful that all of them are at 100% and full strength, but we'll work that way back in the manner that it needs to. It's good having a good roster and depth that it's pretty significant if you looked at it from the outset of how it would affect our team, and it really hasn't. I mean, the infield defense has been great with Ben and Jordan and Gavin particularly. So Jared did a nice job over at first this weekend. Made some really good catches, made a good pick in the dirt, trade, coming in at the end of the game. So we feel like we can get through in a way that we can make sure he's healthy before he's thrown again.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a 40 slip or not. You said it takes tomorrow off. You took yesterday?
I took yesterday off, thank you. Yeah. Yesterday was our off day as a team. Thank you.
With first base coach and Trey left, is that going to be something that just when the lineup allows it to happen, or is that somewhere that you're looking to give him that more?
No, I don't. I think it's been out of necessity. Like, had Tommy not gotten hurt, he'd still be at first base. With that being said, I don't really have a lot of interest in not having Jared Jones hitting right now. And he's improved a lot defensively. Josh Jordan works with the first baseman, has worked hard with him, and I thought he played great over there for 4 games. And, so it's just more of we take each game a day at a time. Again, you find out about your team, but we're not trying to figure out our team, if that makes sense. And so, it was a little bit of a personnel necessity, and Trey did a good job out there. He made a couple good catches on Tuesday night, and that him being a good athlete and having versatility has allowed us to make these moves. If we didn't have that versatility with Jared or with him, might have made this thing even a little more complicated than it is. But for me, it's just like, hey, let's make a couple adjustments and let's go to work.
Before Brady gets in here, we're going to talk to him today. Just what has he meant to you already in the early season?
Yeah, he's a great player. Man alive, I'll tell you what. That draft, there's a few that we lost, but that was the battle I was sweating out the most because of the position importance, and really didn't let up, from our draft education meeting that I have with the players that are in that position to, the summer, the morning of day 2, like I kept mom and dad on the phone for an hour, literally, and didn't let them off because I knew the impact he could have. Now, with that being said, the improvement between fall baseball and now, or even January 15th and now, is remarkable. And I think the piece that stands out the most, and some guys are like this, they're game players. Trey is very much a game player. Brady is a game player. And so, but what he also did was he elevated the importance of the things he was doing every day, knowing that if you're going to have this important role on the team, you have to be able to be counted on. And there's every coach, every player, every pitcher, I know they can count on him. As a catcher, that's super important. I'm pleased with the at-bats that he's taken. There's a few I've shaken my head of going like, this dude is well, and I don't even know what his numbers are, but is well beyond his years relative to taking good at-bats against good pitching.
Yeah, just
He's
following.
a freshman, and he really seems to mesh well with his teammates. Like, talks crap to him all the time. Like, really doesn't seem at all timid or unprepared for the moment.
Yeah, I think credit to him and credit to the team, of letting him know where maybe he needed to elevate himself as a player and as a teammate, and then him respecting what it takes to do that and then doing that every day. And then, it's been like a, massive improvement. And when you have ability, that's what happens. Like, you guys will see the same thing happen with Paxton Kling and Gavin Guidry at some point. I mean, they're working their tail off. They're super engaged in what's going on. They've had some success when they've been in there. And so it's good when you have players that are talented, that have a good plan, that start doing things the right way. That's how it goes. And that's what's happened with him.
Were you proud of, obviously, the way Thatcher threw on Tuesday, but mainly does the environment in which he did it in heighten that outing?
I think for our whole team, I'd say we handled it all very well. It starts on the mound. And, I'm not surprised. I mean, like, he, first inning, little bit of adversity. We made a nice play to get out of it. And that's important. The first inning of the game, defense is really important because the pitcher's trying to settle in, the umpire's trying to settle in. So there's a big double play. But then he took off after that and really just kept the momentum of the game in our dugout. I was rewatching the game yesterday morning, and there was a point where they had thrown like 75 more pitches than we had. And that's a credit to him filling up the strike zone. It's a credit to our hitters controlling the strike zone. And ultimately, we got to their 6th guy used in the game where we'd only used 3. And when Nate was throwing the ball as well as he was out of the bullpen, and then Christian in the 9th inning, eventually you feel like you're going to win. And so he helped set us up for that. It was a really, really good performance, and I believe a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
Does Christian stay in that role? I mean, he's been just nails late in the game.
He can do a lot of things. I mean, like, we had him up a couple times the other night, and I tried to steal a few outs because Thatcher was feeling good. I had him kind of targeted for 16 hitters with how their lineup was set up. And then, the 7-hole, so that would be through the 7. The 8-hole only had 1 at bat, and he got him out the first time through the order. So I wanted to go ahead and let him go there. And then the 9-hole, the 3-2 count, he got a base hit on a fastball. Didn't really want Kennedy to see him the 3rd time around, and that's when we made a decision to go to Nate. So he got us a couple extra hitters than I anticipated, which was great. I think Nate striking out Kennedy right there was big with a runner on base and 2 outs in the 5th. And then he was phenomenal. I mean, he was probably the story of the game, and then allowed us to wait till the 9th for Christian, and we felt like he was the right fit for the leadoff hitter of that inning. And then, man, he looked like he'd done that a billion times. I mean, he's been very impressive so far. I don't know that he stays there. We're going to use him where we need to win because we think he's one of our best pitchers.
Yeah.
I think you're up, Glenn.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, just kind of building off Ackenhausen a little bit. He's had two, really solid outings in his, first couple, debuts with you guys. Just what have you liked about him as a kind of another left-handed pitcher that you guys can use
Yeah,
there?
I'll tell you what. I mean, he had video game numbers in junior college, and then you could see the poise, and nothing was going to be too much for him. I had a good fall. The fall game at Louisiana Lafayette, I mean, he was super impressive. I think he faced 9 hitters, struck out 7. And I remember pulling him aside that day, going like, hey, like, you're on the right track to be one of our key guys. He's one of those guys that, man, you just can't wait to get in the game. And, we had a close game that first weekend, and you notice we went to him, because of the faith that we had in him. And I mean, the first pitch he threw, like, it was an impressive environment the other night. And I mentioned Thatcher handling it and Christian handling it. I mean, he walked out there, and I mean, you could see the first fastball, the first slider, like, this guy's dialed. And it never seemed like we were in trouble when he was on the mound. They had the bunt, which we didn't make the play on, and the guy got to second base, which, but other than that, like, I mean, we were putting a lot of pressure on them, not necessarily offensively, but their pitchers having to go back out there so quick because he kept putting up a fast zero, a fast zero, a fast zero. And I ultimately think that's what set us up to win the game.
Pitching wise, the challenge of, what is it, 5 games in
6
days?
days. Yeah.
Does that allow you to do some different things?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the positives about the trip, at least as I kind of rewrote it out, is we used 14 pitchers and nobody threw twice. And there's very few staffs in the country that could accomplish that and win 3 games, in 4 and playing 3 Power 5 teams and one of the better mid-majors in the country. So I thought that showcased our depth, and then we're really going to have to count on that, during this stretch here. And again, this is not any kind of blowover weekend or anything. I mean, this team was a regional team, I think, that played LSU in 2021 in Central Connecticut, facing a very good pitcher tomorrow night, and a team that has a veteran lineup. And they played Campbell incredibly tough last weekend, who's an NCAA tournament team every year. I think they had the lead late twice. So this is going to be a good weekend for us.
I don't want to say you're not piecing it together with the staff, but you're piecing it together in a different way than you had to last year, right? You have more options, you have more ability.
Yeah, I think, yes, I think the template of how we used the staff last year benefits us even a little bit more when you have more options and guys you can go to. I think figuring out sweet spots is something that we're still having to do. And this will be an ultimate test of that here these next 6 days or this week.
My question was, does it afford you, because it's different now, does it afford you an opportunity to focus on a different area of your team? Maybe more because you're not as...
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm focused on the big picture as the head coach. I mean, it certainly helps when, Wes is invested in the development and the game prep at the level he is with the capabilities that he has. And I think between us, I feel really comfortable about the in-game decisions. I mean, through 8 games, it's flowed exactly how you want it to from my chair. And I would say the same thing with Mark. Wanaka's always done a great job with the positioning and all of those types of things. So we're in a really good place there. I think, globally, it's like if you look at today's practice, it's a little bit of what we need to do to work to develop the team and a little bit of game prep. And so, yes, when they score less, the game is simpler. You can get through facing some good pitchers, and we faced some good pitchers. I mean, like there's 2 games where, I think we've seen in the Iowa game and the Texas game, we faced 3 major league pitchers in those 2 games, in my opinion. And so I think that's going to be good because that's going to be all the SEC is, on Friday and Saturday for sure. But I feel like we're in a good place to be able to match that. And then if you take care of the small details well, you can tip some of those close games in your favor. And that's what we want to do, like we did the other night.
Do you think some of the strikeouts is a product of pitchers just being ahead of hitters earlier in the season and hitters just needing to get their timing?
Yeah, maybe. There's a couple layers to that. Like I said, there's some of them are going to happen. I mean, it's the way the game is designed.
Yeah.
It's the way some of our players are built. It's I don't know, risk reward. Hitting is a give and take. You know, to get more power, you're going to give some swing and miss. You know, to get more plate discipline, you're going to give some deeper counts, and ultimately you're going to give some strikeouts. We want to eliminate the ones that we shouldn't have, and we train it, we work on it, and address it. And I'm okay with it because of the astronomical gap that we have in free bases from our opponents through 8 games is pretty significant. It's like +4 a game, and if you get to +5, you're winning that game. And so that's part of it also.
Gavin's obviously been a really important bat for you guys in the lineup, but defensively over at second, it seems like he hadn't really skipped a beat since being there. Just what have you liked about him?
Yeah, done a good job. Super engaged. I mean, literally it was a extra work thing every day leading into the season. Motivated to do it. And part of the pull and bringing him back here was A, to try this out, and then B, like, the guy's been here for 4 years and he's not a pro player. Like, he needed a position where his profile could be a little bit better. And so I think he's motivated from that front too. Very pleased with the work put in to be a good defender. I think he's shown his athleticism a couple more times than maybe we had seen, A, because he wasn't an infielder last year. But B, he's worked hard on his feet and playing low and using his eyes to catch the ball, and has a strong arm from being an outfielder, so he turns the double play well. So it's evolving into something that's, not something we're trying, but is becoming a thing, and he deserves all the credit for that.
Yeah, how much, just as a guy that knows him and has known him for a while, how good of a story is that?
I think it's great. The impetus of it in 2015 at Nevada, I had a player named Ryan Howell who transferred to us. He was a big left fielder, very similar build to Gavin. He was a transfer from like Oregon State to a junior college to Nevada. And we were about 2 weeks before the season, and it was like, hey, I have 3 left-handed hitting outfielders on that team that all played or on the cusp of playing in the big leagues. Man, we could really change our lineup. We had a turf field. He was really strong and could play low, so I literally took him out 2 weeks before the season, and we made him a second baseman. And that's one of the best teams in that school's history. And I tried it at Arizona with J.J. Matajevic, who's in the big leagues with the Astros. That didn't work as well. It's a tough infield to play defense on. But this is a nice field. I thought he would have motivation to do it. He has good leadership skills, so putting him in the middle of the field, it's obviously helped our team kind of in that same way. And then it's, helping him. So I think it's a good thing. And the part of it that I'm most proud of is just it hasn't been healthy since I've been here. And, to keep staying with it and competing and believing in himself, and he deserves all the credit for that.
Maybe 2 more questions. Anyone have anything?
How much in the foreseeable future do you want to get bigger midweek games like that one in Texas, multiple ones throughout the year?
I think it's good. Like next year we'll play at Rice before we go to Minute Maid. It's a beautiful ballpark right there in downtown Houston. I think with the SEC expanding, the places that you can go do that are shrinking. You know what I mean? And get that type of deal. It's certainly not like that out west. And, so you can't really go that way. I don't think it's good for our team to go that way anyway because the time difference when you come back, it doesn't make any sense. It would have to be a real special circumstance if we were going to go do that. I'm not real familiar with the ACC in baseball, to be honest with you. Louisville would be the one that would pop to my head, but it's a little cold this time of year, so that's not a great option either. Big 12, we could investigate doing that. I think maybe diversifying the schedule as best we can is good. And there's a reason that I like playing in these tournaments in Texas that we'll continue to do that. But those are neutral site games. I do think that one Tuesday was pinpointed so that we go on the road in the SEC. Like we've been there, done that. And, I think, like guys like Jordan who they've done it for 2 years. That's not a deal for them. And I think we showed our experience in that game. But I think for the young players, it was really, really beneficial.
Can you see where there should be some more neutral site tournaments like that other than in Texas? Maybe somewhere else in the South?
Yeah, I think, Maybe Florida somewhere would be the other one, but you get the rain situation. I think for us, it's just like there's a lot of good baseball players in that state, and I want purple and gold on their mind. And so for us to go in there and have players coming to watch us, and Derek Mitchell is one of our best recruits for next year. Came to the game on Sunday, and there were others that came out to the game, or at least they said they were coming out to the game. So that's probably the main reason behind that. And then the travel's not too tough. It's like we can get on the road, spend a week in a hotel, but I mean, charter flights are awesome. I mean, we're back here in an hour and 5 minutes on Tuesday
Did the
night.
Texas game come about because they saw that y'all were going to be in Round Rock?
No, I just called Coach Pierce.
Okay.
I like playing there too. I played there in 20. We did it at midweek in Arizona in 20. Thought it was good for that team. It was right before COVID, so we didn't get the benefit of it. But thought it would be a good thing knowing we were going to Round Rock, and glad it worked out the way that it did.
So anyone else had a question? You had a question?
What has been the most impressive thing about Jared Jones so far?
Yeah, I think he hasn't really let the game speed up on him. I mean, we've hit him in key spots in the order, no matter where he's. I mean, every spot's a key spot in our order, and I don't think he's really let the game speed up on him. I think it's taken outstanding pitching to get him out. I think his plate discipline has been really good, and we said, hey, big boy, we got to move you over to first base for, we'll see for how long, but I thought he handled himself tremendously. He played great this weekend, and good leadership in the infield, like Jordan, certainly helps that, but I don't think anything's been too big from him. I think he's bounced back from failure really well, and that's one thing you don't know, no matter how talented a young player is, until they do that, and he's done that really well.